The 20th running of the VTuber Racing 2024 season takes us to what would normally be the finale in in this day and age. It would have been, but now it's no longer. But what used to be the finale for the top three NASCAR series, Trucks, Busch, and Cup series, will run our 20th race of the season for the VTuber Racing 2024 season. 201 laps is the scheduled distance for this race. Not 200 exactly. We'll have one extra lap there just to be absolute sure that we are going to have a green flag run to the finish. Because in the last two races, we have not had a green flag run to the finish. The last two races, both times, was the final wreck happening on coming to the white flag, which meant that the race kind of ended one lap earlier than anticipated and scheduled. But today's 201, so we have that one extra lap just in case. Now, what we're going to be doing is a little something different here with our starting lineup for today. Kind of go F1 style, if you will. We'll go from the bottom to the top and run through the starting lineup that way, instead of just me going through the starting lineup and not really name out any positions, because I lose track quite a lot for doing so. Well, like I said, bottom up. So here's our qualifying for today's race, starting from the back and working our way up through the to the front. So we have Callie, who starts off at 37th, and Lumi, who starts 36th, with Watson to their inside at 35th. And 34th will be last week's outside pole sitter of Saiki Risu. 33rd will be Doki Bird. Gura, last week's outside pole sitter, will start 32nd, with Tyroki in 31st. Lumen in 32nd. Kason will start 29th. The Dreamer will start 28th. Weebu will start 27th. DJ Overdrive will start 26th, and our points leader, I'll get more into that here momentarily, they'll start 25th. David will start 24th, Fifi in 23rd, Kobo will start 22nd, with Iron Mouse starting in 21st. D in 20th, Adamizuki in 19th, Lucky in 18th, Merriweather will start 19th, with Norimoshi and Soleil cracking just outside and inside the top 15. Bell, who is second in the points, is going to start 14th, with Bao in 13th, DM starting 12th, Fruit will start at 11th, and Nana will start the top 10. 9th place will be Sprite. 8th place will be William. 7th place will be Simu. Boo will start 6th. Fillion will start inside the top 5. Enya will start 4th. And Bibble will start at 3rd. And then we get into our top 2, which will be Hyoso on the pole and Melody starting in 2nd. That, ladies and gentlemen, is our starting lineup for today's race. Point situation, however, coming into this race here, shows that Starlight has a full race and a half gap between them and second place of Melody Bell. They are 66 points back, and then 20 points behind second place is Soleil, with William just right on their tail, 2 points behind them. So it is a dogfight from third on back, with David also at 5th and Merriweather at 6th, but everything for the front of the championship standings is pretty much locked for the 2014 today. Even if something goes wrong today, which what happened last week was the opposite of that. But even if something were to have happened today, then pretty much nothing will happen in terms of the points, other than Bell will have an opportunity to maybe get it down to a full race, if not maybe a half a race for the points lead. But it is not guaranteed that we are going to see a major points shakeup inside the top 2. The real race, championship-wise, is going to be for third place at this moment. However, Bell still has an opportunity to fall from second place in the points if they end up also having a bad race. Because all Soleil has to do, or all Soleil or William have to do, is just finish 20 spots above Bell. Because like I said, way back before the series started, every position on track is worth 1 point. And then leading a lap also gives you 1 point as well. And winning the race gives you 3 extra points as well. So there's that. Before we set it down to trackside, the next 4 races listed up on screen, these will be the next 4 events taking place. We'll go to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the oval of in race 21. We went to the Roval, the road course. We went to that way early on in the season, and William took the checkered flag first in that race. Let's see if he could do that, as that is one of I think that's the only track we have 2 dates at for this season. So there's that. Next up, we take the race over to Europe at the Euro Super Speedway, which we'll talk more about when that time comes. Then we move it back to Chicago, where we go over to Chicagoland. And then after that, we move on over to New York at Watkins Glen for another road course event for this season. But in the next 3 races, 3 ovals and 1 road course. So that is how, that is how the next 4 races shake up. With that being said, let's quickly bring it down to trackside, where we just went through the starting lineup. We don't need to do it again. We are set to go racing here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. And with that, we take it down to the pace car, who will roll off momentarily. Like I said, 201 laps around this 1.5 mile speedway. And the pace car is going to roll off. We are set for racing here. As the field rolls off, I'm going to quickly turn down my sound because that is incredibly loud for some reason. I don't know why that is so loud, but it is. All right. Pace car has made it through into the backstretch. And Kelso and Melody, they will they will bring the field to the green flag to start this event off. And with how wide this track is, we'll have to see if we're going to see 3 or maybe 4 wide action early on in this race. Well, things are going to get very interesting here because a lot of drivers up in this top 10, they are going to be battling for several different positions in the championship standings. Maybe not so much in the top 2, but every point in the championship battle is as important as the top 2. Green flags in the air. We're racing here at Homestead, Miami. Big dive into turn 1 by the top 2. They will clear from behind. Bimble's going to stay in 3rd place by themselves. Henya falls to 4th, and Simu is going to have a 3. It's going to be sandwiched 3 wide between Henya and Sprite. As they come to complete lap 1, it's going to be Kyoso who's going to lead the first lap all by himself, with Melody and Bimble battling each other at behind. Now it looks like Bimble, a little slide up there. They'll slide up and hang on to 3rd. 4 wide behind them. We were asking if there was going to be some 4 wide action. There is very early on in the beginning here. 3 wide still. Even a little bit of 4 wide if you go back a few rows. Kelso still hangs on to the race lead. They're side by side for 2nd. Fruit clears from everybody. Is going to get 4th place. Bimble's going to try and clear down low off of Melody to maybe take away that 2nd spot. All right, now it's Kyoso with about a 0.2 of a second gap right at this moment. One good thing about this track is that there's some pretty wide camera shots that we got going on here. Unlike at Milwaukee, where it felt like there was not a lot of good cameras. You can see everything going on as long as everybody's in this pack, which everybody still is. Fruit has caught up to Bimble, trying to pass them. They're underneath right now, the 36 of Melody. That's for third, and they're going to get... Well, they were clear. Actually, they are going to be clear. They're actually going to try and make the pass on Bimble for the second spot. Ooh, still not clear for that battle there. Now they're going to be clear, so Fruit moves up to third. They're 3 wide behind her. That's Fillion, Bao, and Melody in that picture there. Kelso still leads first 5 laps of this race. So far, Kelso being pretty dominant in the early going of this event, similar to last week with Gura. After taking the race lead away from Risu, the inside pole sitter, that Gura led the majority of that race. I don't know if that story will still hold true today because the field is quite bunched together. Unlike last week, where everybody was pretty much just content with running single file for the most part. Back in 10th place, we see our points leader of Starlight climbing through the ranks. Merriweather holding on to the 10th place spot at the moment. But if you got to look a couple cars behind, that's where you find our current points leader. So at this moment, points leader is going to be climbing up inside the top 10, even after starting back in the 20s. 3 wide for second. Fruit's in the middle with Bibble on top, and Fillion's going to back out from down low. Back in 5th place is Soleil, who we saw in the qualifying results was just in the middle of the Hornet's Nest, but has now climbed inside the top 10 and now inside the top 5. I'd be looking at a move on the high side here, try to make something happen, but they got Iron Mouse down low. Kyoso is a 2-time winner. In fact, a back-to-back winner in this series. And they're going to be trying to see if they can make it a 3-win season for the number 47 team. Although still very early on in this race, nobody's been able to challenge for the lead at all this race so far. If anybody's going to have the next opportunity to do so, it's going to have to be either Fruit or Fillion who's going to try and make a move down low. That is for second. Fillion way down the racetrack. And not a move made there for second, but instead Fillion drops back. It's now going to have to fight with Bibble in the 9 as they're trying to make a move on the high side. Fillion can get a good run into turn 3 and 4, but loses all of the momentum by the time they get right down that front stretch. Because here comes Iron Mouse right to their inside. But Iron Mouse can't get it gripped up there. Let's see if happens here with Fillion. See if Fillion could get a run down the backstretch here to make a move for second. Doesn't really look like it. But the gap to the leader definitely has decreased by a little bit. Fruit getting a little bit of help from Fillion, who now dives back low. Does not seem like Fillion can make a pass happen. Fruit's gonna hang on the outside line here. All this is going on while we got the 47 to Kyoso right out ahead, leading the first 12 laps as of this moment. We definitely saw Kyoso up in the top 10 in the points positions here. He needs to have a strong day here today in order for them to contend, at least late in the season, may contend for a top 5 finish for the championship standings. Because as of this moment, it's going to be hard to stop that 24 car from getting anywhere but top of the charts. The only person that's relatively close is Bell, who is just in the middle of a sandwich here. They are slightly ahead from the 24. So as of this moment, they would gain a couple of points, but only a couple of points out of 66. We're trying to hang on through the middle as Bimble's about to fall outside the top 10 here momentarily. Merriweather's climbed back up into the picture here. Up to 4th. Trying to get past Fruit for 3rd. Philly had climbed up to 2nd, so they finally got that pass made after several attempts. And a little bit of 3-wide action going on behind the top 4. Tyroki and taking Melody and Ironmouse 3-wide. Things are starting to settle out here right now as we've got 16 laps being worked. We're working lap 16, I should say. So far, the top 4 is Kyoso, Philly, and Merriweather, and Fruit, and they are all single file. In the battle for 5th, got Tyroki edging out just a little bit over Melody. A little bit of help from Bell right behind him. There's 16 laps in the books right now. Working lap 17. Now Merriweather peeking down low to maybe take the 2nd spot away from Philliad. He's going to get a run off the corner here, and he's going to be able to, for the moment, take away that 2nd spot. But they're still going to be side by side as they go into turn 1. Still side by side for that spot. And now, finally clears up. And I'll move Merriweather back to the 2nd spot. And now, oh, here comes Fruit, actually. Fruit's got a good run off of that corner. Let's see if they can hang on to it down the front stretch. They're still hanging on, but here comes Tyroki. Again, another aggressive 3-wide move by the 41. Now we're 3-wide for 2nd. Now things are starting to settle out just a little bit, but not for too long. They're still 3-wide behind. Tyroki to 2nd. Bell down the inside. Oh boy. A lot of drivers having a lot of trouble getting that car gripped up down to that inside line. Some drivers can do it just fine. Others, it takes a minute to get it going. Billion hangs on to 3rd, or actually 4th. Try to make a move for 3rd. Can't make it happen. Kobo way down the racetrack in the front stretch, but that's for like deep in the 30s. It looked like there was a problem there, but there's not. It is a hornet's nest back there for 10th on back. 2nd place. Oh, boy. That was close. Tyroki almost got into the quarter panel of our leader of Kilso. But they still hang on. In fact, still continue to set some fast laps. 30.507 for our race leader. His fastest lap. Exactly the same time for Tyroki. Bell with a little bit of a quicker lap. And now Bell takes 2nd away. And if anybody needs to get up to the race lead at any point in time during this race, it's going to have to be Bell. They're going to try and make a move for the race lead. Kelso's led the first 22 laps of this race. And Bell's going to try to make sure that that doesn't continue. Nobody's been able to make a pass for the lead just quite yet. Everybody's been able to trade all the way up to 2nd place with other drivers, but not for 1st. Tairoki tried to take away that second spot. But they have a lane already filled up to their high side. That's with Fillion. And as of this moment, 47 to Kyoso being very dominant, but Bell's got to run going into turn 3. Kyoso's going to slide up. Give that bottom line up. And 24 laps into this race, we have our first lead change of the day, and it goes to the number 69. So give that extra bonus point to Bell, who desperately needs it after what happened in last week's race at the Milwaukee Mile. They definitely need to get as many points as they can today. And now, side by side once again for that race lead. Tairoki out to the inside. They take that race lead away. They got that bonus point this time. Bow way up the racetrack, almost into the wall off 2 there. Side by side for the lead, side by side behind, maybe 3 wide for the race lead. Fillion looked underneath. Being pushed by Soleil and Lumi, who we saw starting back in the 36th position, or 35th position. She's climbed up inside the top 10. 3 wide for the race lead and 3 wide behind it. Things are getting very, very spicy right now. Oh boy. A little aggressive too. 3 wide. Bell's going to lose out on several spots. Tairoki still led that lap by only 100th of a second. Oh my god, everybody's sliding up. There's a very wide racetrack. 4 wide. Let's make it 4 wide for the race lead. Now it's back down to 3 wide, but Bell is still 4 wide with Kason, David, and Kyoso. Still 4. And 4 wide for the lead, too. So things are getting more aggressive here 29 laps into this race. Lumi to the race lead. Merriweather to the inside. Iron Mouse unofficially 3rd place at the moment. That the leaderboard has just like completely gone upside down and shuffled everything around with all this 3 wide and 4 wide action. You would have been hard-pressed to find a side-by-side battle last week at the Milwaukee Mile. You'd be hard-pressed to find anybody single file in this race. Merriweather the race lead, hanging on to it at this moment. Being pushed by Iron Mouse. Now Iron Mouse gonna stick to the inside, but not to try and battle at this moment. They're gonna hang behind at the moment. Still 3 wide deep in the field, but they're starting to get everything sorted out. Comes Soleil down to the deep inside, trying to make it 3 wide for the race lead. And won't be able to make that happen. Soleil is going to be aggressive here, especially if it's this early in the race. Still single file for the top 2, but here comes Iron Mouse. Merriweather took a little bit of a higher approach in that corner. That opened the door for Iron Mouse to get a better run. And across the line goes Iron Mouse to take the race lead away, officially. They are still 3 wide, a couple rows behind. So, the race lead's kind of interesting, but not as interesting as what's going on back in 15th on back. They got a lot of positions being traded right there. Sole may have a chance for the race lead. Yeah, I say that, but they did not have a good turn 4 exit right there. They got Merriweather in the middle line right now, trying to take that spot away from the high side. A lot of single file in the back half of the field, which I guess is not too shocking. Everybody's starting to spread out a little bit more once you get up to the front of the field, but then you get 3 wide once you get back to 4th on back. Soleil still hanging on to 2nd, but still try to keep that eye on that very bottom line. Down the backstretch. 35.5 laps completed in this one. Like I said, we have that extra 1 lap just to be sure that if we have a caution that we could still have an opportunity to get a green flag run to the checkered flag, because last 2 events, they have not had that at all. The race was decided on the white flag instead of the checkered flag. With how things have been running, I wouldn't be too shocked to see another one, a third time happening this weekend. The way that these drivers have been running, especially when they were running that aggressively. 4 wide for the race lead under for the first 30 laps. My lord. Things are starting to get a little calmer now. Top 4, single file, first side-by-side battle is between Starlight and Hano Mizuki. That's for 5th. Out of all of that, number 24 car, our points leader, is still in the picture inside the top 10. Meanwhile, Bell has fallen outside the top 10. In fact, outside the top 20. Still very early on in this race, but Bell leading that 1 lap earlier is definitely going to help them in the long run. Whether that be for good or for bad, we'll have to see. Because all the 24 has to do is lead a lap, and that goes out the window real quick. So I think that might be what Starlight's game plan is right now. Just quickly get that lap led so that nobody can get that bonus. Nobody can really get an advantage off of that bonus point. Right now, she sits 5th. Iron Mouse, Soleil, Fillion, Merriweather, and Area, the top 5. And it's Bao in 6th, Melody in 7th, Mizuki in 8th, DM in 9th, and Lumi rounding out the top 10 at this moment. And single file through most of the top 10. But it doesn't take long. It doesn't take much for somebody to want to make a move down low. It's side by side. Fillion tried to make it happen. That didn't work. That put Merriweather out of line. And now here comes Starlight underneath. That'd be for 4th. That's Iron Mouse hanging on right now. Playing defense right now while Fillion tries to take the 2nd spot away. And Area moves up to 4th. Well, Merriweather's going to try and take back that spot. A little bit of shoving going on right there, but not a whole lot of contact. A lot of single file through the top half of the field now. A lot of that 3 wide action that we saw not too long ago, that's going on deep in the field right now. Once again, like I said, this field is starting to spread thin and try to get more calmly single file like we saw last week at Milwaukee. This racetrack is incredibly wide. It'll be incredibly hard to make this stay like this. Right now, these drivers are just wanting to log the laps away and try to get to a point where they can start being aggressive without having to really pay the price for it. That's why right now we're seeing most of the top 10 single file Then you get back in that field where there's drivers in the 20s trying to gain spots inside the top 20. That's where you start to see a lot more of that action. Well, there's still action going on inside the top 10 here. We got Fillion trying to get second away from Soleil. And we have Merriweather still trying to get back that fourth spot that he lost to Starlight not too long ago. And then Melody right behind them might even try to make it 3 wide with Merriweather and Starlight. Starlight still hanging on that high line, which is kind of surprising. Fillion's going to be able to clear off Soleil. So now move that 78 up to second place. And now Starlight's going to try to make a move. Nope. Soleil with a block. Maybe with a run, too, off the corner here. And Starlight's not going to help that 420 machine to... In fact, they're going to go right to their outside to try to make the pass happen on the outside. Fillion hanging on, which is helping that 24 out. Back there and see what happens here. Actually, Starlight's going to lose a little bit of momentum. A little bit of momentum being lost by the 24. Going to drop outside the top 5 here momentarily. There's Melody's down to their inside. Fillion's making a move for the race lead down the back. Way down the racetrack. Try to comfortably be on that inside line going into turns 3. And can she clear up? She can. So Fillion takes the race lead away. Merriweather hanging on to third at the moment. So they trying to get down low, but Melody's clogging up that gap. That small but there gap between Merriweather and them. Solei's going to hang on to that high line. Actually get a good run down the back, but I don't know how they're going to be able to hold on that corner exit. Still pretty much dead even. Going into turn 1. Merriweather a little bit of a slide there. Side by side for the race lead. You got Iron Mouse once again trying to get that race lead back. Starlight on top 3 wide, falling back several positions. Iron Mouse has taken the lead. Points-wise, we see the 24 and the 69 right next to each other. Starlight's going to try and go back underneath. Make it 4 wide. This is back just inside the top 10. Ooh. Uh-oh. Starlight might have some problems here. She's slow on the backstretch. Really slow. Problems for the points leader. Problems for the points leader. She's coming into the pits. Oh my goodness. This is huge. Is that an engine malfunction? Because she was really slow. Tire problem, engine. Oh, she's gone. The points leader has retired from the race. On lap 50. Wow. She was really slow down the back. I'm wondering if she lost the engine. I didn't see smoke and there's no caution or anything like that. But she lost several positions and was trying to make up for it. I don't know if she lost the engine or lost something mechanically. But a mechanical failure has taken the points leader officially out of the race. And meanwhile, all that really did was split up the field a lot. Man, I looked that way inside the top 10. Well, this is all the drivers inside the top 10. Back to Lumi in 10th. And then you got Bell in 11th. And then it's just all spread out from there. everybody's all, like, spread out once you get back to 11th on back. So that jumbled the field, or spread the field out, not jumbled, it spread it out. And now that the 24 is out of the race, yeah, completely out of the race, and they're not even on track anymore. They're done. That'll be a last place finish for the 24 car, which, that is very unfortunate considering last week they won the race and put up an extra bump into their championship standings. Wow. That is genuinely concerning. But in any case, still the battle for the lead heats up. Put the battle for the lead in a microwave for 30 seconds. It gets really hot. Merriweather to the race lead. And Soleil is going to try and take that second spot. Oh, whoa, whoa, way up the racetrack goes Soleil. That battle for second's incredibly tight right now. Soleil slid way up the racetrack and is now up top 3 wide with DM and Didi. And that is for third. That completely took the top 2 and put them on a different planet. Soleil still having problems. Soleil now going to have problems mechanically as well? Because we have not really had mechanical problems at all this season. We've had a few, but never something that incredibly massive. Iron Mouse to the race lead. DM now trying to take not only second spot, but also take away the lead. Now you know that Bell's going to try and be back into this picture as well. They have to realize that now they got the opportunity of a lifetime to get back into the championship hunt. Everybody does at this point. Soleil, William, David, several drivers inside the top 10. Those drivers know that they got to finish good today if they want to stay inside the championship hunt, as we're rounding down into the final 10 races of this season. This is the stretch to have one of your best runs of the season. And right now, that stretch is not looking good for a start with Starlight. Oh, Merriweather. Oh, just a little tap in the wall. They're 4 wide. The points leader retires from the race early on, and everybody decides that now they're going to go 4 wide. Merriweather tapping the wall down the front. There's Risu inside the top 10. She's climbed back, up from the 36th starting spot. 35th was Luby, if I remember correctly. One of those two. Look at this gap right here. This gaggle of cars. They're all battling for second place. Right now, it's Bell who has it. It's Soleil right behind them. Then you got just a huge gap. So you get to more cars behind these. I still can't get over that. The fact that Starlight had a problem and now is done from the race. I highly doubt that's strategic. I know they have a full race lead over everybody else, but that's a strategy you don't pull until you're confident that you can win the championship. That can't be a strategic play because they were also really slow pretty much that entire lap they came into the pits. They fell back several spots, and then when they tried to make a move to climb back inside the top 10, they just couldn't get the power going. And now things up front have slightly settled down. Top 5 in a complete jumble right now, compared to what it was just 10 laps ago. Now it's Iron Mouse, Melanie, Didi, Soleil, and DJ in the top 5. Then the first side-by-side goes between Tyroki and Melody for 6th. Actually, now that would be for 4th place, as now first place. Here comes Bell back to the inside. They're not going to be able to make the pass happen. And Didi's actually going to try and make it 3 wide. Nope. Thought about it. Still side-by-side for the race lead down the backstretch. Now Bell's going to clear. So now the battle moves back to 2nd. So the best thing that Bell can have right now is a win here today. If they can do that, they can confidently bring themselves back into a 30 to actually less than 30 point run between the top 2 in the points, which would be quite the that would be quite the battle going into the next couple races. But there's also that opportunity that Bell can also lead the most amount of laps. That still is up for grabs. And if they can also get that bonus point, they'll also get a huge jump there. Right now, this is definitely not what you want to see if you are the points leader. Not only are they currently, 16 laps down and out of the race, but then your only other out of 36, I should say, other drivers. There's one driver that's currently leading the race and has an opportunity to dominate this race because they're in the main pack, and that is our current race leader. Everybody else is 80 or more points back, which is almost 2 whole races. If not, actually 2 whole races. Pit stops are happening right now. Let's see what happens under pit stops. We're 67 laps into this run. I almost forgot pit stops were a thing. So keep an eye under those. Currently it's Didi who's going to be leading a 5-pack. See if anybody dives in from this pack this time. Doesn't look like anybody here. There's a little bit of smoke, but no caution. Let's see who comes out first from that first pack of cars that came in. There's a lot more from the back of the field that came in this time. Looks like Bell's going to lead them off with Soleil and Melody not too far behind. Let's see if anybody from this 5-pack of car here, 5-pack, come in. Yeah, several of them are coming in. Overdrive's one of them. Gotta keep an eye on Bell because they came in as the race leader. So we'll see what happens now. Also, morning to you, Mama. Hope you're doing well. I don't know. There seems to be quite a handful of cars that are staying out, too. Who comes out first in this pack? Looks like it's David, Gura, and Henya, the first 3 off in this little group here. I'll have to see if Bell can get out in front of them. Model is finished, debuting it tomorrow. Hell yeah. That's awesome. And David's gonna... Oh, David's actually gonna... Wow. Still trying to get up to speed, but David's gonna gain a lot of track position. Ooh. And it's also gonna get thrown into a 3-wide sandwich right now. Soleil now gonna try and make something happen here. Can't make that happen. Never mind. David would, I think, would be the leader unless they get beat out by several others that come out of the pits, which it does look like that is the case. It's actually Overdrive that's going to take away the race lead. Tyroki and Lumi, the other 2. And the field has spread out tremendously because of pit stops. Because now everybody else is coming into the pits. It also depends on if anybody beats these three coming out of the pits. Saw Iron Mouse with an opportunity to do so, and it might be Dee who does it. I know it's going to be Overdrive, but they aren't going to fall too far behind. Oh boy. A little bit of a slow get up and go for the 87 compared to the rest of that field that was coming up. That was quite scary. Things were a bit spread out for a second, but now they've calmed back. Now they've gotten back together. Yeah, after pit stops, it's DJ with David and Lumi, the top three. Bell hanging on inside the top five, with Tyroki and Soleil all in one big group. Then you got Gura with Dee and Iron Mouse and Melody in a 4-pack, and then the rest of the field on back, either single file or battling amongst one or two other peers. Simu, William, the final two on track. But if anybody is just tuning in, about 20 laps, about a little more than 20 laps ago, the points leader either blew an engine or lost some sort of something mechanical. Something mechanically went wrong for the 24 today, and they are out of the race. I didn't see smoke, so I don't think it was an engine, but they were incredibly slow. They came off of turn 1 down the front backstretch, and they were just incredibly slow. They could not, they were not 100% whatsoever. Then they brought it into the pits immediately and took it to the garage. So, not even a quarter, barely a quarter, I should say, of the way through the race. And the points leader mechanically DNFs from the race. Like I said, I don't think it was an engine because I didn't see smoke, and normally that would be a sign, unless the engine just had another, unless it didn't blow up, unless it just broke in some other capacity. That could also be the case as well with that kind of problem. Maybe losing a couple cylinders, maybe losing something. I don't know exactly what, but something. Either way, they're out of the race, and they'll finish 37th for today. So today is going to be a big points day for everybody looking to get back into the championship hunt. But the good news is that they still are going to be the points leader coming out of today's race because they have that full race gap. Like I said, 66 points coming into today's race. There's no mathematical way second place can become the points leader out of today's race. Although Bell could still gain a lot of positions, or not a lot of positions, but they can gain a lot of points and make it to where it's down to less than half a race. If they can win this race. Now, they have to win the race in order to really be logistically in contention next week. Getting them 3 extra bonus points as well. But right now, they're sitting third as David looks to go back to the inside for the race lead. Unofficially, David has not led. Whoa, little cut. Ooh, that was close. Soleil and Bell almost got into it with each other. That could have been even huger for the points. If this was iRacing, they would have both seen the car contact and a 0x on the top of their screen. But they keep it straight, and they didn't really lose any time either. There was a little bit of a mishap. Well, meanwhile, the top 9 have are all within a second of each other. Top 10 are still within a second. So yeah, this is a group of 10 cars at the moment that we're seeing. Henya and Risu in the background there. They are for battling for the 11th spot, but they are way back, almost half a corner away from this pack. So, and a lot of that has to do with the pit stops, first off. But since that whole mishap with Starlight happened on the under green and not a caution came out for it, it also broke up the field quite a bit. This battle for the lead, while it's calm compared to what we've seen earlier, it's not gone away. David is still trying. He's still trying to make something happen. But he's not going to be able to make anything happen right now. Soleil tried to take back third. Magura's not going to really try to help out, but instead going to try to take third for herself. Try to get a 2-for-1 deal here. Soleil's going to clear. But they still have Gura down to their inside. This has been a very, very fun race, all things considered. The bottom line is not the most dominant line of this track, but it ain't also top dominant either. I mean, these drivers, they're fighting from one end of the track to the other to find out what their car can do and where's the best spot to put themselves in. I mean, we've seen a lot of drivers also slide up and not make a corner. But now David has taken the race lead away and now is cleared DJ and now will officially lead that lap, which I think is his first of today, if not his second. But DJ is going to try to take away that race lead quickly. And Gura is up to third. And behind them, they're 3 wide for that 4th spot. Oh man, Tairoki almost got into the corner panel of Soleil there. Top 3 are starting to build a gap because of them being 3 wide. DJ with a nice run down the front stretch, or back stretch, I should say. Ooh, he's going to slide up a little bit. But he's going to get a good run off turn 4, and he's going to clear David. Soleil almost in the wall as they're still 3 wide. Now they're starting to get that situation calmed down a little bit. Still tight side by side for second. And Guru is going to try and hang on to that inside line in turn 3. But David's going to pinch down low. And I don't know if they remember the consequences from Simu last week at Milwaukee, but it could work here today because there's not a lot of reason to be super aggressive. But even if you are aggressive, you're not pitching somebody to a pit wall. I mean, if you are, that is quite the aggressive move. Just as much as Iron Mouse was trying to take a 3 wide for second. I don't know where she came from. But David took the race lead back and now actually pulls out a huge gap compared to last several laps. About 0.3 of a second exactly once the timing got all updated and stuff. Still side by side for second between Gura and DJ, but you gotta watch out for Iron Bells. They may make it 3 wide. Not everybody is in this pack of cars. So for the race lead, you're looking at about 15 cars realistically inside this pack. But this pack goes far back to Weebu in 24th. And then you got half a straightaway until you get to 25th on back, which consists of Nana, Noriboshi, or Pulsitor Kyoso, Doki Bird, Sprite, Simu, Fifi, William, Lumen, Lucky, Bibble, and Fu. And they are about about a second and a half back, I would say. Not a second and a half, I should say about half a second. So this will go back to... So go back to Weebun 24th. Oh, this will go back several seconds, actually. Because Weebu is 3.34 from the race leader, this time by... Yeah, so about 4 seconds. So... It's basically a 24 car pack that's spread out by 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds. And then you go back another 4 seconds, and that's where you'll find the rest of the field. That's how things shake out with 90 laps in the... 91, exactly, in the books. Still caution-free, all things considered. And if these drivers can run about 65 to 70 laps on tires and fuel, we'll be getting our next pit stop. Green flag pit stops at around 120, 130. In between the... Whoa! They were 4 wide for second, and there was nearly contact, but nearly a wreck, I should say, between Iron Mouse and Soleil. Everybody trying to get into one singular spot, and it's kind of hard to do so when you got somebody holding that spot. And currently, David's doing all he can to get away from this mess, and I don't blame him. They look like they're about to wreck each other. From this point of view, it really does look like they're getting really close to wrecking each other. I would try to commentate over that, but I kind of can't with the volume being as loud as it is. Overdrive is starting to chase down David for that race lead. They were starting to lose a little bit of time, but it doesn't look like it's going to stay that way for long. Whether it's because Overdrive has a really good race car or whether David's car is starting to fall off just a little bit. That gap has dwindled down just a little bit. And that gap, too, that second pack, that's still not looking good. It's actually increased. Still about 7.5 seconds back from the race leader, but it's about another 5 seconds from the back of the main pack. And now things have started to calm down a little bit. That's a whole debacle that nearly happened between Iron Mouse and Soleil. So far, top 5 still is David, Overdrive, Iron Mouse, Gura, and Soleil. Then you go back to 6. That's where you find Henya and Tyroki battling it out. Second place in the points, that is Melanie Bell. Or Melanie Bell, I should say. Still inside the top 10. I don't know why I keep thinking it's Melanie Bell. Or Melanie. I am terrible with names. It's Melanie Bell, I gotta remember that. Single file inside the top 5. Just when we get to the backstretch, we'll be halfway through this race. So the first half of this race has come and officially gone. And now we wait to see what happens in the second half. Caution free so far the first half of this race, which I don't think has happened in quite a few weeks. I think last week on Milwaukee was the farthest we would go without a caution, without the first caution. And that still didn't come out before the first half of the race was over. Side by side for the race lead, it's going to be Overdrive with a nice little run off of turn 4, and they are going to be able to clear. And it's a jumble of mess right behind them. Gura trying to hang on to third. Henya trying to get up inside the top 5 by taking both Soleil and Iron Mouse 3 wide on the bottom. There's still 3 wide back there between those 3. But the top 3 right now, they've kind of pulled out a little bit of a gap, not by much. Here comes Gura for the second spot. Gura's not going to be able to make the pass happen in turn 1. And I think they're still going to be side by side going into turn 3, so Gura may have a better chance here. David hangs on and now looks to the inside of DJ. Still going to be side by side off the back, down the back stretch. Will actually clear before even getting through the corner. And that puts David back to the race lead. That battle between Soleil and Gura is really heating up. They were trading the second spot away several times. That was like Gura could finally get back up to second. Not for long though, because here comes DJ underneath. Soleil is going to try and take a 3 wide for that spot. And if Enya has to say anything about it, we may see 4 wide for second. And I think it's not really close, but not 4 wide there, but there's still 3 wide. Ooh, Enya slides up very much down into turn 3. Tyrokee had to let out just a little bit. Meanwhile, this has made David pull out to his biggest gap yet. About half a second, maybe more. And now Overdrive tries to throw the block down low. That will help close the gap back down to a marginal about 2.5, 3/10. About 2/10 now. David's still hanging on, but we still have 90 laps left and another pit stop or two coming up. We'll definitely have to see what this next pit stop has to offer, because that's what put David in this position. Uh-oh, we have a caution on the speedway. Well, I guess our green flag pit stop dream came to an end. What happened here? Was it in the front pack? Doesn't look like it was the front of the pack. But I also don't see it at all. Oh, something happened in turn 1. Oh, something did happen in turn 1. Oh, Spry head on. Oh, man. Back in the 29th and 30th position. Spry tries to go low. Slides up. Oh, man. Head on into the wall. Get another look at it. Tried to clear, because there was that line right there in between Noriboshi and Lumen, and she was not clear whatsoever. Very much head on into the wall. Let's see how hard she hit that at. It was 170 going into the corner. Nails it right at 176. And that's as head on as you can get. And that'll be significant damage for the number 90 car. And that's our first caution of the day at 112 out of 201. So we'll definitely see pit stops coming up here. Or at least I assume so, because they are more than halfway through this run. And once we get that, there's still one more there's one more that they got to get through. Within the next like 30 to 40 laps if they want to make it to the end. Yeah, Sprite. Yeah, nothing Lumen could have done right there. Just a very aggressive move by Sprite, and that just resulted in them getting hooked into the wall. And yeah, as well as Sprite, Lumen also has damage. Not as significant, but still significant enough. So we'll see how pit stops happen here. Let's see what happens under this cycle of stops. Got 2 drivers. No, we got several that are staying out. There's 3 cars that stayed out. And everybody's on the lead lap with the exception, actually everybody is on the lead lap, so yeah. Fillion, Hano Mizuki, and Weebu, those 3 stayed out. So now we'll have to see what the chaos brings for pit stops as all 33 cars, I guess 32, all come in and all come and go. Sprite's a lap down, so there's that. Overdrive comes out first, and then it's tight after that. My goodness. There's somebody else in the pits as well. That might be Lumen. That Lumen coming out? Yeah, that is Lumen coming out. So front end doesn't look too bad, actually. It looks pretty good, all things considered. Yeah, as things shake out, looks like the 3 that stayed out the last time, they're going in. Because I want to say that smoke in the pits. It might they might kick. There's some drivers that have been kicking up some dust down here. Wouldn't shock me if that is the case. Sprite is technically on the tail end of the lead lap. She came in a little too early, if I could say that. And there's still some significant damage there. But since the other 3 cars ahead of her pitted, she will be back on lead lap. She will get waved around. So when she comes across the line again, she'll just be put at the tail end of the field, and she will be back at 36th. So that out of the way, pit stop's over. We got DJ Overdrive in first, Iron Mouse in second, Soleil in third, Gura in fourth, and David, who came in as the race leader, is actually going to fall to fifth after the stop. Henya in sixth, Kason in seventh, Tyroki in ninth. If I remember correctly, I hate that this is not... Alright. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th place. 9th place is Didi. 10th place is Melody. Watson in 11th. Bao in 12th. 13th is Kobo. 14th is Bell. And I should also mention this too. We have something special here coming up. We've entered our final 10 race stretch. Normally we got single file restarts. We're going to spice things up with 10 races left in this season. And we're going to start exactly as we started. Double file. So double file restarts here for the final 10 races of the season. We test them out here today with Overdrive and Iron Mouse. Row 1, green flag in the air. Add to the chaos that is the race. Might as well spice things up by making things a little bit more spicy once we get on these restarts. So Overdrive clears out from Soleil, who's now in second. Iron Mouse is 3 wide with Gura and David. And then it's chaotic on back. I should also mention this too. It's a good, that caution that came out was a blessing for those drivers back in 25th on back that were more than 5 seconds back away from this pack, because now, well, here they are. Most of them back in the picture. Top 2 have spread out a little bit of a car length or 2 gap. As DJ Overdrive and Soleil the top 2, and then the first side-by-side battle goes between... Actually, it'll be between Kason and Tyroki, a couple cars back. Now it's Iron Mouse and Gura. That's for third. Here comes David, who may make it 3. That kind of aggression can be costly. Things are getting really crazy inside the top 5 right now. Didi overdrove the corner. Nearly caused another wreck. I saw somebody in the pits. Somebody coming out of the pits, and that is... Oh, that's Weeboo. Yeah, Weeboo came out of the pits, and Sprite's just slow from that wreck. I mean, I can't be too shocked that Sprite would be slow after that incident. I mean, head on at 170 miles an hour. Yeah, that engine is not good either. But they're keeping them out there. I don't know what the issue is with Weeboo. Apparently another problem for these drivers mechanically. But this time, instead of what happened earlier, now it's Weeboo who went into the pits. They're still technically on the lead lap. I guess. They're just back in 35th. Unless they didn't go into the pits. Maybe they didn't get into the pits. They were slow on the backstretch, so I thought they were coming off the pits. I thought I saw somebody coming out the pits. They might have gotten thrown down there. I don't know if they were in the pits or on the apron. One of the two, but... Alright. Because if Weeboo pitted, they would have been a lap down. So my assumption is that they either pitted and somehow stayed on the lead, or did a quickie stop, stayed on the lead lap, or they, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Doesn't matter anyways, because they're back in the 35th position. Oh, they're actually still in this pack. They're climbing inside the top 30. I'll be that as it may, if they come up to the front of the field, we'll answer that question. We'll have to answer that question legitimately somehow, some way. Either way. Iron Mouse looking for second. But can't make that happen. So out of the 35 cars that still have some sort of contention left in this race, with the other two being Sprite and Starlight. Sprite because of that engine damage that she has from that wreck, and then Starlight from the engine malfunction that took them out of the race. All 35, they're still in it. The only other exception would probably be Lubin, who got involved in that wreck. They are at the tail end of this big ol' pack of cars. Like I said, when we had that restart, with the final 10 races of the season, if a caution comes out, then we're going back racing double file restart style, and not single file restart style, just to add on to the chaosness of this series. Soleil tried to take the race lead away down the front stretch, and then just had a horrible turn one, and now lost second, and now it's Iron Mouse to that spot. There's still nose to tail for that second spot. It's a bit of a small gap till you get to the race leader, but they're still right there. The top four have driven away slightly from fifth on back, as they're still trying to sort it all out back here. And Bell, who was looking to have a good finish here today to stay inside the top, stay in contention, they are not using this opportunity as well as they should. Currently sitting 20th. But that would just be, yeah, their Sprite just nibbling away. Actually, right directly in front of the leaders. The Sprite's going to move out of the way. Actually, might be diving it into the pits, but either way, that's allowing Didi to get into third. Maybe even second. It couldn't make the move happen there, but Iron Mouse falls to fourth. Now Kason and Bao, they have driven up, and now we're at this little tango for the lead here. Battle for second, side by side. There goes the 87 to the inside. And Soleil with a crossover. Try and throw a block and also make a move. Can't make that happen. And now we'll see if the 87 can make something happen. They do. They'll clear into turn 3 and they'll take second away. It's the best run that 87's probably had all season long. They did get a pole not too long ago, but they were not up there that very long. First side-by-side battle on track goes between Iron Mouse and Soleil again. Now make that Iron Mouse and Didi. That's for second. Soleil falls to fourth. Across the line, we'll be working 70 to go. And this track, so far, it's very easy to lose second and back. But once you get up to the race lead, it doesn't take long for you to kind of just hang out and lead a consecutive amount of laps. I say that, but here comes Iron Mouse once again trying to take the race lead away. And try and shove DJ out of line. And that does work to perfection as Iron Mouse takes away the lead. With a good run into turn 1, she will clear the 12. But was it too good of a run? Because here comes Didi to the inside to try to take that away. They are 3 wide, not too far behind this pack here. Ooh, almost contact between Kason and Soleil. They're going to be 4 wide for third behind. 4 wide. Now they started to slowly sort that out. Still side by side for the race lead. It's Iron Mouse that makes the outside line work. And actually kind of defends quite well. Keep an eye on this gaggle of cars back here. That's 3 and sometimes even 4 wide. That has David in the as well as Tyroki and Melody and DM, Kobo, Risu in the up here as well as Lucky. Several drivers I haven't really talked about much of at all today, except for just now. As you can see, these drivers, once they get a little aggressive, they will try and use up a lot of the turn. They'll try to use up as much of the turn as possible. It is pretty wide. And how high the banking is. It doesn't look too high when you look at these camera shots. I can guarantee you this is some high banking. Almost comparable to Daytona, but not super comparable to Daytona at the same time. It's a little bit less banking than Daytona, but it's not by much. It's actually kind of close. This is down in Miami, Florida. So we're in southern Florida. Daytona Beach is right in the middle. I think we're about 200. I think little more than 200 miles away from from Daytona. I could be wrong though. I don't know my geography that well. But Iron Mouse and Kason, top 2. Lucky and Risu, 3rd and 4th, respectfully. And Soleil rounds out the top 5. That's where we sit on lap 137. With how things have been going so far. With if we're talking points, I really don't think a lot of drivers, because a lot of these drivers, they aren't really looking too good at the points. Top 4, not really inside the top 10 with the exception of Iron Mouse. I think they're the only one inside the top 10 in points. I mean, Soleil is 3rd. Yeah, 3rd in the points, but they sit 88 points back, so they can maybe get half of their points back, but still be a race back. I mean, I gotta quickly pull up the tab, which I can do real quick. There we go. Actually, I gotta move it. Sorry if you missed anything. I doubt you did. Wasn't that long. So while this battle for the lead continues between Lucky and Iron Mouse. Iron Mouse is 9th in the points, but they sit 116 back coming into today. And Soleil is 3rd, sitting 86 back, as Lucky and Iron Mouse are trading away this lead back and forth. That was a move. That was incredible. The one that should be taking the most amount of advantage is the 69 car of Melody Bell, but they aren't inside the top 10 at this moment. In fact, they're jumbled back in that chaos that's in the background of that shot. As Lucky now tries to take away the lead and does so. 286 miles between Daytona and Homestead. Daytona's near Jacksonville. That's it. That's right. Yeah. I was close. I don't live in Florida, but I've been to Florida. And Risu now up to second. But can she hang on to it for long? Paramount still quickly underneath trying to take away that spot again. David almost in the wall. Way back in the back of the field there. A good shot down that front stretch. You can definitely see the lines that these drivers take as they go into turn one. We get another shot of that down this front stretch here. A really good shot. I like those shots where you get to see a foreground car and a background pack behind them. They almost went 4 wide for the 6th or 5th spot. Are really tight there for a second, but they quickly, and I mean as soon as I saw it, they quickly brought it back down to 3 wide. And battle for the lead. Here comes Risu to the front. And she led a lot of laps last week at Milwaukee after starting up front. Would love to have another week just like last week, but with a better result. Here comes Ironmouse trying to make it 3 wide for the race lead on the bottom. Lucky is going to fall back to 3rd. And Arisu is actually going to be able to defend quite well enough to get the point for leading a lap. But here comes Lucky. Throw it back underneath. It is nice quick work by Risu's spotter right there. Because if Risu doesn't move up and give up a little bit of a spot, there would have been a huge wreck that would have just taken place in the turn 1 right there. So good on Risu and their spotter right there, because that was quick work. I don't talk much about it, but these drivers, they don't work alone. I got to recognize these drivers sliding up and stuff like that, but the only way to do so is with a guy on top of the grandstands here. Get a little bit of help from a couple other helpers. Try to tell them where everybody is and what to prepare for. Yeah, like the last couple laps, we've seen some drivers going to turn 1, and they are sliding up. They are eating these tires up. And now they're in that window. While we're speaking of it, they are now inside that window to where if anybody comes into the pits, they can make it the rest of the way. So now the question is how early do you go in? Do you go in super early? Try and short pit everybody? Try to get out ahead of everybody but have to defend late in the race? Or do you go in later and maybe lose some spots at the beginning of the final run, but maybe have an opportunity to be up front at the end? Now, with the last 2 races, the race has been decided coming to the white flag and not coming to the checkered flag. So you got to be prepared to be in a position to win with less than 5 laps to go. Because if a caution comes out at that point in time, you're pretty much seeing the unless it was a quickie caution, which is also possible. But 5 laps to go, you don't want to risk it. And getting the win is important, especially in these final 10 races. Excuse me. But the battle for the race lead still just as warm as it was not too long ago. It has a few opportunities to cool down, but then heats right back up. Like now, 4 wide for fourth. Or, sorry, second. It quickly dives back down to 3 wide, but my goodness, what a bold move by Kobo. I mean, yeah, the best place to be right now is is the lead. It's my goodness, what in the... That is crazy. Right now it's Soleil up for second. Oh, Iron Mouse nearly in the wall. She's going to lose a ton of spots. I don't think she hit it, but if she didn't hit it, she still had to let out a lot. 4 wide is still continuing onwards. It's hard to look at it without going back through there, but I don't want to go back there. You can see it with Simu, Kason, Bao, and Iron Mouse. They are still... this is one of the only tracks, with the exception of maybe Talladega, but one of the only tracks remaining that could fit 4 wide. I don't... Can you say maybe 5 wide? I think I just saw 5 wide with Fu and Bell and Overdrive and 2 others. To say the least, everybody's getting antsy here, knowing that they got one more pit stop. They gotta set themselves up and be up front. Pit crews will do their best to help get them out front. But it's the driver's responsibility to be out front by the time pit stops begin, just in case. Out of all of that, Hano Mizuki, another driver who I've not really talked about much of at all today. They're climbing inside the top 5. They're up to 5th. Actually, 3rd. Here they come for 2nd, actually. I mean, again, the best place to be is that race lead, because if you're in that leading spot, you're seeing all this. You're not a part of it. You're just seeing it. They're still just trying to take each other 3 wide here. Everybody's using... Oh, there we go. I was going to say, everybody's using up a lot of the racetrack. I can see why. It's because pit stops. Final pit stops have started. Got to keep an eye on Lucky, because they're the ones that came into this leading the pack. See if anybody comes in this time by. Several drivers this time. Yeah, a lot of drivers kick up some little bit of dust right there. Ain't anything too bad though. A little bit of dirt or smoke kick up is not going to be too bad. Gotta be Lucky and gotta be Lucky and Risu that come out first. At least under that group. Kobo, Soleil, and Kason. I think they're the only 3 that did not pit, and now they are pitting. Kason actually makes it into the pit lane this time with no worries. That was not the case last week. All that being said, it looks like Lucky is going to come back out, the race leader. Actually, maybe not for long. Here comes Risu. The gap has... Look at that. That really does wonders. Unless somebody has a better stop and they come out ahead of these 2, which might be DM. Oh, it's going to be tight. Ooh, Lucky's going to get out ahead. DM is going to cycle 3rd. Unless Kason, Soleil, or Kobo, one of those 3 to come out with a quicker head of steam. I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, there goes Kason. And there goes Soleil. Maybe Kobo. Kobo will fall back to maybe 2nd or 3rd, maybe 4th. Oh my goodness, what a run by Risu. Kobo files back to 4th. Bimble to 5th and Soleil to 6th, and then rest of the field on back. And it has spread out tremendously now. I think Sprite... Yeah, Sprite has also pulled it off. So she has DNF'd as well. So now 2 cars are out of the race. Officially. Still a 4-car pack for the race lead. They're battling just as hard now as they're probably going to have to. 40 laps to go. They're going to be 3 wide for 2nd. But if they keep this up, though, Bimble and Overdrive and the rest of the gang on back, they are going to catch them. Especially if they're 3 wide, because they're using up more of their tires, and they're going to have to lower their speeds down just a little bit more than the ones that are running by themselves that can throw it into the corner at high speeds. That's why you see the leader kind of pull away. But then the moment when 2nd place is decided and they're single filed out, that's why you see these battles for the lead after so long. Kind of like a wave effect, if you will. Starts one chain reaction, then it files back to the end of the pack, and then the pack on behind has a chance to catch up and make things worse for the drivers that are trying to separate themselves. As DM now moves up to the front, and just like that, it doesn't take long. There comes Bimble to make it a 5-car pack. Overdrive is just right behind him, but not too close at the same time. The main thing is going to be if the actual pack behind them can actually hang on and get themselves sorted out. At the moment, that looks to be true. If they're side by side, that's better than if that's better to go side by side than to be 3 wide when you see this pack as calm as it is right now. So far, it's single file for the top 2 between DM and Kobo, although Kobo's going to get a run off of 2. They're going to be 3 wide behind. That'll give Overdrive an opportunity to climb through or climb up. So now put Kobo to the race lead. Oh, you also want to know what could also help? The drivers from 6th on back, maybe even 7th, as Overdrive's now in the picture here. There's a slow car, and it's Lumen, who was damaged from the wreck with them and Sprite. They also got Henya in the picture as well, so lap traffic could obviously play a huge factor in this race. Especially late in the going. Now, a lot of that pack behind there, single filed out. The pack behind that's trying to chase down the top 6. Now, the top 3 may be single file, but then they were 3 wide for 4th place. That is going to help them out tremendously. Now, Lucky trying to pass DM. Like I said, yeah, Lumen is pretty slow. Because he hit also pretty hard in that wreck with Sprite. So the question is does Lumen move out of the way, or does he play a factor into what happens in the final parts of this race? So everybody's got to get around these guys. Kobold's being held up a little bit. As here comes DM to try and take away the race lead. Ooh, Lumen's definitely holding them up somewhat. Because he's trying to stay on the lead lap and get a caution. But he's on the verge of going one down. And he does. Now he moves to the high line to try and let everybody else go low. So that bunches the lead pack up. But now Lumen still has to deal with several more cars right behind him. But if that pack of cars can get around him quicker, then they'll be up here in no time. It's a 4-car. Looks like a 4-car pack. Nope, 5. Got Tyroki, Nana, Bao, Fu, and Kason. That goes back to the 11th spot. That gap has dwindled down. The gap's now 1.1 back to 7th place, which is that next group of cars I just talked about. And they have to deal with Lumen real quick, but if they can get around him while they're also 3 wide in front of Tyroki, then they'll be able to catch back up, and they will make it an 11-car battle for the race win. At the moment, 11 cars. There could be another chance for that group behind. It's a little bit of a... Okay, so right now, from 1st to 11th, they're on top of each other. Not on top, but they're close together. So that's Kobo, DM, Lucky, Overdrive, Risu, Bimble, Tyroki, Fu, Bao, Nana, and Kason. They're the top 11. About another 2 seconds back, you got Melody, Callie, Noriboshi, Doki Bird, and just a sloth of cars. All just battling as hard as they can to get as many points. And then there's still several cars by themselves in a smaller pack. And then you got Henya literally all by herself in 32nd. But right now, out of those 11, the top 11 cars, 4 of them have broken away from the rest of the pack because they've been battling each other. Right now, 3 cars 1 lap down. Lumen, Mizuki, and Didi. Oh, they are also 1 lap down. I think I saw them in the pits, although it was a blur, but I believe I saw those 2 in the pits. And get that, maybe had an extra stop. So leaders did not pass them again. I definitely didn't see that, or at least naturally they didn't. But right now the top 4 have pulled out to a 5 to 6, no, 7/10 of a second gap. We're counting the gap between 4th and 5th. Because they are pushing each other nose to tail. They ain't trying anything crazy. Not at this moment, at least. This pack back here is insane, though, by the way. Back outside the top 20, you got Fruit, David, Soleil, and Noriboshi on 4 wide. Now it's down to 3, but my goodness, they're just trying to get up somewhere. And there's Bell back in 15th place, trying to get something to happen. But yeah, everybody from 12th on back, they really, really, really want to see a caution come out soon. Especially with the restarts being double filed, there wouldn't be such a gap between everybody. Because it's double file, you get to cut down the rows of cars down to half. So then you end up with everybody legitimately on, like, right next to each other, and then you got to deal with all that. But now it's getting back single file here as we're getting down into the final 20 laps here. About 21 when we cross the line. There is Henya, by the way. She's not damage slow. She's just slow because she doesn't have anybody else around her. Because to explain it in basic terms, if you get a little bit of a tow or a draft, that does increase your speed and at least helps you maintain, if not decrease the gap. But when you don't have anybody, you run 175 by yourself while everybody else is running a little bit faster than you. Not by much, but it's a difference. It is a difference at this track. Especially since it is a high-speed track. And if they catch Henya, which could happen, you could definitely see something something like we saw with Lumen not too long ago. Fu is trying to take it 3 wide here. Several drivers caught up to the end of that 4-car pack, and now they've mustered it up to another 11-car pack. So it's still 11 cars. I say that though as the top 2, since they're single file, they're trying to pull away and slightly successfully doing so. But not for long, because here comes Lucky side by side for the race lead with Overdrive behind him in single file, so there's still 3 wide for 4th back there. The question is going to remain as to how many cars are going to be in contention for this race win within about 15 laps. And if we do get a caution, it better come quick because, again, the last 2 events have been coming down to the white flag lap being the checkered flag lap, technically. With 1 safety car lap to end it off. That's why we added that extra lap in there, so that if we did get a caution late in the run, we could still have a chance for a green flag finish. That's gonna bite somebody in the rear end if they get if they're leading on the white flag and they get passed for the checkered, because that'll bite somebody, I bet. Right now, Lucky and Kobo, they got some company right behind them. They got DJ Overdrive and Tyroki and Fu and DM all on their tails. As well as they got Henya just up ahead. I don't know if they're going to catch Henya until late in the race, because Henya's not damaged at all, so she's not super slow. She's just by herself and not able to race around anybody else. 3 wide back there for 4th. They were nearly 3 wide for the lead. Now, Lucky did win a race early in the season, and that was way back at Darlington. Kobo with a good run down the backstretch. A solid run. Clears up from the 6. And now takes the race lead away. A little bit of a gap when we get back to 3rd place. But now the race leader, right now that's Kobo. They do have that little extra tow there given by the 30 car. So that's going to help the leader a little bit, but here comes Lucky. Nice little slingshot pass there to take the race lead away. Now what Lucky is going to try to do, they're going to... It's going to be Lucky right now, but whoever's going to be the race leader, they're going to use this 30 car as a pick. Because Henya's not going to be battling for the race lead, or the win for that matter. Unless a caution comes out late. And by late, I mean now. Side by side for the race lead still. Kobo and Lucky still duking it out. Still 11 cars battling for the win here. Got 11 laps to go. Still side by side. Overdrive peaks down low. Also with a little bit of help there by Fu. And like I said, Henya is not damaged at all, so she's holding up the leaders, but not necessarily slowing them down. But Kobo wants to get around that 30 car just so there's a gap. And a little bit of a defensive ploy there to get away, to separate, I should say. Oh, man. DJ saw that move coming. Made a move to either make it 3 wide or make Kobo have to let out. Make Kenya get a bit of a gap. As now Overdrive takes the race lead away. Fu almost looked for that little gap down low for second. Thought twice of it. Across the line, we'll have 8 laps to go. We're coming down to the nitty-gritty here at this racetrack. Oh, Overdrive slides way up the track, and now Kobo back to the inside. Kobo back to the race lead. Fu trying to get up to third, right behind these two. Henya's definitely holding up these leaders by a little bit at a time here. Now Overdrive tries to take it through the middle. And Lucky to the bottom, 4 wide. Well, that'll put Henya out of the way. 3 wide still for the race lead. Oh, contact between Fu and Bimble. They keep it straight, but that was still some contact there. Now Henya's in the mix here, but not for the win. Tyroki now 4th place. And now DJ Overdrive sent up the racetrack. He's up top. The middle is Henya, and on the very bottom is Tyroki. They're getting really tight together here. 6 to go. Pack of 11 cars on the lead lap. 12 total if you count the 30. Right now, it's the top 2 that have that 30 car in between them and the next car. So right now, it's between Lucky and Kobo. Still 5 to go. If Fu can get around Henya, he would be able to make a move for second. Maybe the win late in the run. And for the race lead, here comes Lucky to the inside. And while all this is going on, battle for 4th rages on. A lot of positions up for grabs here. Still late in this run. But it's 11 lead lap cars in this pack. And it's another 5 seconds back to the rest of the field. So everybody inside this top 10 list right here. Everybody inside there has a chance to win it. Fu with a look down low. But they're still side by side for the lead ahead of him. Overdrive gets around Henya, so now it's back to 4 cars. Still side by side for the race lead. Only a couple to go here at Homestead. Still side by side for the lead, side by side behind. With DJ on the bottom, with Fu in the middle, they're still trying to file that 30 car to the back of the line here. As Henya has no chance of winning this race. She is 1 lap down on the top groove there. But she falls back outside the top 5 as we hit 3 to go. Still side by side for the race lead, side by side for the 3rd spot. With Fu with a good run on the high side as well as Kobo. Those two are going to get a good run down the backstretch. Lucky's still going to try and dive it down low. Fu tried to look through the middle, but that gap quickly closed up. Lucky is going to get a good run down the front stretch here. 2 laps to go here at Homestead. Can they make it to the white flag? Without a caution. Still side by side for the lead. Side by side behind, 3 wide even behind, 4 wide behind them. Bring the pack of 4 to the white flag, 3 wide behind Lucky. White flag's in the air. Side by side for second. It is now Fu who moves up to second. And he's peeking down low, trying to see if he can take the win away down the backstretch for the final time. Side by side for the race lead. Fu's going to send it in one final time. Can he clear off of 4? He does. Off of turn 4. Fu will win it at Homestead. His second of the year. And his second within a couple of weeks, too, by the way. He won not too long ago at Motegi. And this time he leads 1 lap and wins it at Homestead, Miami Speedway. 3 wide finish for second, by the way. That was a very close call. But it's Lucky who ends up second, Kobo in third, and DJ in fourth. What a finish. We'll go through the final results here momentarily. Just an overall outstanding race there once again by these drivers. Incredible. Let me pull up the results here. And let's quickly look at the results. Final results here from the Homestead Miami Speedway. 1 lap led by Fu, and that was the 1 lap he needed to lead in order to get his second win of the season. By 1/10 of a second over Lucky. And Kobo in third, not too far behind, as well as DJ Overdrive. The top 4 were only separated by 0.2 of a second. Which, again, put that in perspective, that was mainly the average interval between the leader and second place throughout most of this race. There were some times where they were closer, but when they were single file, they were about 0.2 off. And that was, separate that by 4 cars. That was quite the finish. Not to take anything away from the top 4, but look at Nana that came home in 5th place, a girl who has been struggling all season long. Started in 10th place and rounds out the top 5. A good solid finish there by Nana. And I'll let the rest of the field scroll by slowly, as slow as I can, though. Risu ended up inside the top 10 after leading 8 laps. Kesa with a nice little finish in 8th. Tairoki 7th after starting in 31st. David and... let's look at this second pack right here, actually. From 12th on back. So, 11th place was Bao, about 1.2 seconds back from the race winner. And then you got another 3-second gap, and that's where you find Melody, who won that. And then there's Belle in 17th, who really should have tried to maybe take advantage of the points leader retiring from the race, but out of all that, they finished 20 spots higher, so they're going to maybe, I would say, gain about 21 points. At the most, 22, but I think 21 points is the realistic... yeah, 21 points is the most realistic thing that they'll get in terms of points, because they led 4 laps at the same time. But they finished 17th, and then the rest of the field's going to slowly scroll by as well again. Iron Mouse led 38 laps, and it was the most amount of laps led by a driver today, and that was still not enough for them to have a solid finish. They started and finished 21st. Kyoso, or Pole Sitter, led the first 23 laps and then fell back and could not recover ever since. They'll finish 26th. William, who was 4th in the points, is ending up in the 28th spot, so he's going to drop back several spots in the points as well. And now we see the rest of the drivers that ended up laps down or more in this race, and that's where we end with our points leader coming in and out of today's race, retiring only 50 laps into this race. Actually, not even 50 laps into the race. They'll finish 37th. 153 laps down. And then Sprite getting involved in that wreck. Our one and only caution of the day, surprisingly. That took out Sprite and Lumen for the most part, but Lumen still finished 34th. And Sprite rounded out the field in 36th. So that's the full results from the race. Now the points... Yeah, I thought so here. I looked at the points here. Actually, I'll pull up the points before I pull that up. Yeah, the points coming out of today's race. 21 points gained by Bell, but not much more than that. It is still about a full... It's more than a full race still between them and the points lead. And Starlight with a number right there in the points column with a 666 points. Being the top right there, which is a little concerning if you, yeah. Back, though, for third place, lots of changes here. A lot of changes here for third place on back. So David comes out of today's race third in the points, but he still sits 70 back. But look at the gap between third, fourth, fifth, and sixth place. They are all within 10 points of each other or less. It is a dog fight between David, Soleil, DJ, and William for that third spot in the championship standings. And then it's a little bit more than that, down to 7th place of Noriboshi. But still, you look at that, it's a 3-dog fight down there between Noriboshi, Merryweather, and Ironmouse for 9th. And then Kelso sits all by himself with in 10th place, 108 points back from the championship leader. So with that being said, going into next week's race at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, the gap is dwindled down a little bit, but not enough for Bell to take away the championship lead unless something drastically crazy happens. But we'll see if Starlight can recover from what happened today and make it to where that doesn't happen again. But yeah, that is Foo's second win of the season, but that only keeps him at 23rd point. That puts him 23rd in his points. So he's pretty much out of the equation for the championship, but it's still anybody's ball game right now. He sits with 2 wins, 3 top 5s, and 4 top 10s. But he ain't the worst winner out of everybody in the championship standings. That honor goes to Lumen. He sits 34th in the points after today's race, and he won sometime this season. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, those are the next 4 races of the season. We will be back next week for the Charlotte race. And for me, stream-wise, I will be back Monday, probably around the same time as today. Actually, I'm gonna step away from racing for a little bit and actually do some football again, because I've been wanting to do some of that. But yeah, that'll do it from me here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. We will be back next week for the oval race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Take care and have a good one.